Welcome everyone to Design Bytes, a weekly series that takes a look at and breaks down good, bad, and interesting instances of game design. For today's video, we're going to uncover how Paper Mario, a simple and beginner-friendly RPG, contains one of the most well-designed progression systems that provides an incredibly deep level of gameplay driven entirely by player choice. What's even crazier is that the whole system can be traced down to a single screen that offers a simple choice: Paper Mario's Level Up screen. Leveling up in Paper Mario works a little differently when compared to most other RPGs, especially when viewed against Paper Mario's contemporaries. When a player levels up, he or she is presented with an option to enhance Mario's heart points, flower points, or badge points, which improves his survivability, the amount of special attacks he can use, and how many of these special attacks or abilities are available at any given time. But there's a bit of a twist found here. These aren't additional perks that players get along with a set of normalized growths. Instead, they are the only stat increases Mario will ever get during the entire adventure. This progression system has a surprisingly monumental impact on Paper Mario's core gameplay that can't be understated. Because these are the only stat increases Mario gets, it means that players themselves are in full control in defining their playstyle throughout their adventure with no restrictions or guidance placed there by the developer. This helps Paper Mario stand out for several reasons. First, players gain extra motivation to push through challenges to psychologically justify their distribution of stats, since they are responsible directly for how things go in battle. Second, repeat playthroughs of Paper Mario are incentivized because the high level of control and customizability means players can choose to play differently from their first experience. In a lot of cases, this can make a repeat playthrough even more fun than the original for some players. Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, players are forced to make a decision every time they level up that ultimately affects their long-term strategy while progressing through the game. This creates a feeling of having complete control for players, and it's nuts how deep the consequences of a simple level up screen can go when we analyze how it affects the gameplay. This progression system by itself is already an impressive and unique take for the genre. But if we take a look at the badge points option on the level up screen, we can see that the developers took it even a step further. Throughout their many conquests in the Mushroom Kingdom, players will find badges, which are equipable goodies that grant Mario extra abilities in battle and on the overworld. Each badge requires points to use, with better badges generally costing more points, so there's always a balancing act players have to go through when deciding which badges to wear. Most badge abilities use flower points, which intrinsically ties them to badge points since players will have to decide between the two when leveling up to optimize their combat strategy. Mario himself never learns any abilities naturally, so this badge system is a huge part of Paper Mario's overall progression system. One nice perk of it is that at any point in the game, badges are completely interchangeable, as long as players have the required points to use the ones they want. Interchangeable abilities have massive ramifications on the overall game design. It means that after the first few hours when the pool of badges is limited, the remaining playthrough can become super dynamic based on player choice. Let's take a look at some examples. Using the progression system, players can choose to create a Mario that goes all out on offense or defense, or one that focuses on survivability. For players that use a lot of badges, they might want to have a Mario that excels at close-range hammer attacks, but is weaker at long-range jump attacks. Alternatively, a player could have a strategy where they have a Mario who moves quicker on the overworld and has more of those abilities, while also gaining some passive benefits. The range of playstyle options is surprisingly deep because the progression system and the badge system work together in tandem. Because the badge and progression systems are very flexible, and because Mario's stat increases are limited, players have the ability to impose challenges on themselves during any playthrough. This by itself can make playthroughs interesting and a lot more fun for experienced veterans. It's surprising how much flexibility and customizability is found in Paper Mario, and it creates a deep and vast gameplay experience with all kinds of possibilities. The level up and badge systems found in Paper Mario show something that you wouldn't expect from a Mario RPG or another beginner-friendly game in the genre. The developers placed 100% of their trust in players to figure out this system because they knew it was simple and just works. The badge system provides the flexibility to determine what Mario can do at any point in the game, whereas the progression system lets players determine the balance between how much he can use abilities at the cost of survivability. The best part is, all of these abilities are completely interchangeable throughout the entire adventure. It's a great example of how developers can place trust in their players to create scenarios where their own choices have a real impact on the core game design, and they did it in a simple to understand and fun way.